is Mr. Jide Ologun. He's a legal practitioner and political affairs analyst. Good morning to you, Jide, as always. Thank you very much for making time for us this morning. Okay, so the by-elections, I suppose on the political calendar, the by-elections have come and gone. A sort of a mixed bag of reporting. I don't know if you'll agree that by and large, it has gone well, which is not the same as to say that there were no problems anywhere at all. For instance, the reports are that, let me see now, reports are that, well, APC swept Lagos, Oyo, Ondo, and then there were apathy and irregularities during the by-elections in other places. That's paraphrasing one newspaper's headlines about the matter. Would you say that pretty much sums it up?
Absolutely. And these are typical features that we have in our elections as we continue to invent and reinvent. And it clearly shows that the mindset of some electorates have not changed, and that the political atmosphere also has not changed so much. Because if you isolate places like Enugu and Plateau State and some other areas, we had reports of thuggery,
yes,
and ballot snatching and disruptions, which by now I believe we should have overgrown as a nation. But interestingly, that is where we are now. And I thought over it and came to a conclusion that, you see, with the level of poverty we have in the country, it may be difficult to depart from the kind of violent interventions that we have during some of our elections, because some are still of the mindset that when elections are on the stage, it's time for them to benefit. And there are still the politicians who believe that they must get involved to disrupt the process. So, and it's quite, but generally speaking, and it was reported to have been quite peaceful. And again, we had the regular feature of apathy.
Well, again, yes. So this is
except for Ondo State, where reportedly the turnout was impressive. So.
The point you make about the attitude of our people, you spoke of them as the electorate. Because of what I'm going to say, there are those who don't even bother to go out and vote at all, which is unfortunate. But that point you spoke to, that our people see an election as not an ordinary affair, let it lie wherever it falls, doesn't seem to be the attitude of our people. They feel that apart from actually contributing, casting their vote and thereby contributing to the whole process, they feel that, no, we have to do something. You can't just let things pan out the way they will. And that's a problem. So we go back to the whole question of our political education, not just for the electorate, not just for the candidates themselves, but our whole attitude, which does not exclude those I said who have said that, I'm not going to be, I don't vote, I don't go, meaning that they've given up, they don't trust the process. We involve professors, we involve people of NYSC people, and you saw the reports that were coming through that, in fact, I think somewhere we hear that there were NYSC members and 2 other INEC officials that were held hostage. So this is outright criminality, and you seem to be indicating that, well, it's not going to change anytime soon.
Exactly. The background of political culture is also defined by the governance deliverables. Where you have good governance, and the primary purpose of government as enshrined in our Constitution, Section 14, subsection 2, that states that the security and the welfare of the citizens shall be the primary purpose of government. Where you have that, and the welfare is well taken care of, then you won't have the resources for violence that you have. You see, because for some electorates, it's when elections are around the corner that you can grab from the politicians. So for them, It's like their season of harvest. And for the politicians, electioneering in Nigeria is a gateway to the highest point of wealth creation in the nation right now. It's a high-yield environment. And they also leverage on that to mobilize all the stakeholders that can help them get there. Recently, the former governor of Rivers State and a former federal minister was telling the youth that why do you need to travel out of the country? Nigeria is a place where you can wake up and become a governor. These are strong statements. So unless we make the political environment less business-like and we focus on rendering services under the tenets of democracy, creating commonwealth for common good, we are not going to move away from where we are right now. So that's why you see that level of desperation. And I did a comparison. In the UK, for instance, parliamentarians were resigning. You recall the case of Boris Johnson, that, hey, this is not what we promised the people. We cannot continue with you like this. So how many parliamentarians can resign in Nigeria? Because of insecurity.
Exactly, on a principle.
How many of them are focused on what we should deliver to the people? So these are all these things. I mean, at a point in time, we were discussing the SUVs given to National Assembly members, and one of them came out to tell us, oh, the federal ministers have 3. Is that the argument? Now, by extension, because I like to extend my analysis, by extension, if the federal minister has 3, let's even assume, and we have about 48 ministers, multiply 48 by 3, then you now look at how much it cost the country to fuel those vehicles when the pump price of PMS is now above 600 naira. And you look at the impact of that on the economy of the nation, particularly when you now extend it further to the global environment and ask the simple question, is Nigeria buoyant? How much? We are owing trillions of naira. So these are issues. So we are yet to arrive at a good governance-focused system. And I think that should be the attention that we should be drawing now as a nation. And that is when we can begin to now start dealing with violence during elections and all the desperations. And those are my humble submissions for now on that.
For now, when you look at the ruling party, the APC, I just cited at the beginning of the program that they seem to have swept in the Southwest. They swept the elections in the Southwest. And you spoke about the state of our economy, the condition of our economy, and how buoyant we are or not. And I noted that you also spoke about resources for violence and misbehavior. I was a bit intrigued at that contradiction about having the resources for those kind of things, when in terms of resources, we're not in a very good shape now. Not at all. Any way you look at it, although what we're hearing is that this is the way it's supposed to go, much to the despair and perhaps disdain of opposition party, that what do you mean it's going to get worse before it gets better? That's not what we elected you for. And I really, it's hard to grab hold of this because, of course, the opposition will also fire back. I mean, sorry, not the opposition. The ruling party and supporters will fire back that what is going on now, it can be traced to the removal of fuel subsidy. And every candidate, bar none, promised to do exactly what the leader, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has done. So any way you look at it, we would have been in this fix if, since the conditions are different. So it goes back to, I don't know, not having, and by the way, the ruling party leads with the banner of renewed hope. I don't know if right now people aren't feeling that renewal of hope. To talk less of the by-elections that have gone now, and we still have problems because people are seeing it very much in the terms you described at the beginning as, now's my time for profit, now's my time for gain. Not now's my time to go out there, look at the facts, and work according to the facts, do what is best and what is necessary for the country, as opposed to rumors and conjectures as to what is going on.
Great concern. And, you know, the scripture says that if the foundation be destroyed, what can the righteous do? And that is even talking of the righteous, not the wicked. So the righteous, we have to struggle. We have a foundational problem in Nigeria. And many have argued against it. If you read section 15, subsection 5 of the Nigerian Constitution 1999 as amended, it states clearly that the state shall abolish corrupt practices and abuse of office. And those are the major problems. And until we begin to deal with that.
Okay, because I wanted to wait for you to see what you meant by foundational problems.
Exactly.
Now I get where you're going.
And so we are talking about fuel subsidy removal. How many culprits of the fuel subsidy scam have been brought to justice? In industrial psychology, you talk about reinforcement theory, which means if there is something you should prevent at level A and you don't prevent it, by the time it gets to level P, you are dealing with a mega problem because you are reinforcing it. And I pray for President Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu that he will succeed. But let me say this secret, and I can be quoted globally. Unless he starts dealing with the cabal in this nation, his government will be frustrated. My name is Olajide Agbola Ologun. Last week we were discussing EFCC coming out to say 7 billion naira was traced to a religious body, to a nameless religious body. So we just hear about it. And Dubai identified 6 sponsors of Boko Haram, jailed all 6, 2 to life imprisonment, 4 to 10 years. And we are here still. We even told the world that we have identified 400. And these are the issues. So it's not about the removal of the fuel subsidy. It's because there are no consequences for crime in Nigeria.
And why?
And people will continue to commit that crime to frustrate the government. This morning, sir, my heart was so heavy for Nigeria. And I sat down and I got some revelations. While some of us are here speaking English, advocating for good governance in Nigeria, some wicked people are busy spending their resources on how to frustrate the system and impoverish the nation. And that is what they do full time. The oil thieves. You know, we are quick to bring up nomenclature, religion, ethnicity. I've asked this question, no one has answered me. The oil thieves in this country, don't they have religions? Are they from the moon or Pluto? Don't they have ethnic alignment? So these are issues of our time. So our problems are foundational. Early 70s, General Gowon retired. The then military head of state came out to say that Nigeria's problem was not money, but how to spend the money. In this country, NNPC came out to tell us they spent 100 billion naira on turnaround of moribund refineries. At the time, it was zero remittance to federation accounts. And we are still talking of fuel subsidy removal. Who has been, at the time, Uncle Yori, in this country, some guys imported, adulterated fuel. Who are they? Where are they? And they are still within the system. The former president of Nigeria, Dr. Goodluck Ebele Jonathan, was bold to declare that he has them in his government. And I'm saying now, in fact, the former governor of Kaduna State, El Rufai, came out to say, we know these bandits. We communicate with them. In fact, a major non-state actor, prominent Nigerian, went to their enclave, took photographs with them, parading their ammunition. You see, and you see, there are 3 levels of madness in life. The first level is to know your problem, know the solution, and just be playing around. All right, so let me leave it at that level to save time. So I think there is a governance madness that is plaguing Nigeria. And until we wake up, so now, sir, we are talking about politics. Now, kings are being killed in their palaces. Kidnappers are entering the Federal Capital Territory freely. I mean, we are in serious problem. In fact, I wish we are not discussing election today.
Yes. In fact, and why all of this is coming to the fore as we are discussing the reruns and by-elections is really looking at it from the point of view of when the original elections, the substantive elections were conducted, pretty much this was what we had on ground. And then we've seen how we continued our governance with that. And now that the reruns, the by-elections have come, we're still talking about these very matters. So it doesn't really look as if we can really expect much difference as a result of, the results of these rerun elections. You talk about the fundamental problem, and I will sort of summarize it as, look, very much the way you did. But then we hear that, well, it's always easier from the outside. Before you actually enter into the governance hall, you know what to do, and indeed how to do it. But it looks that even the ruling APC has come up against that jam of, well, now we're in there. Actually, we can open the windows and open the doors as much as we want because we occupy the house now. But then suddenly we find out that, keep that window closed, metaphorically speaking. You don't need to open that door all the way. And of course, it all goes back to continuing my metaphor. We have to ensure that we still have a country to govern. And there are some things that were not really seen for what they were, but now we have to contend with them. And I'm afraid we're not at liberty to share with you all that we know. I wish they would say it like that, but of course, it is never said like that. But that is the way people are discerning it. And so we still have this matter of irregularities at elections, apathy in some cases, meaning the people have given up, they don't believe in it. But the government is telling us that they are actually doing their level best. In fact, only last week, as you were saying, we speak every day. They were saying that, the right things have been done. And you alluded to it, the right policies have been floated. The next step is to actually get the people, get politicians to work for them. And there is a suspicion that there are many who are not able to work for these very laudable policies simply because they themselves will be affected.
I just said it. If you read Habakkuk chapter 1, verse 4, Habakkuk 1:4 says that the law is perverted. In fact, another translation will tell you the law is crippled, because the righteous is surrounded by the wicked. So they prevent justice from proceeding. And that is what we are telling the government. Your right policies will be jeopardized by the wrong crowd. There are some people the Bible describes as so wicked that until they carry out wickedness in a day, they cannot sleep. Because why do you explain that some people just want to terrorize the nation? And that's the point we are making. Now,
Meanwhile, people are lining up to vote,
yes,
hoping against hope, hoping for the best.
And let me now bring it out to the political environment. It's really so sad that we are not focusing on what we should focus on. Can we say that the lifestyle within the political elite reflects the reality of the nation? The answer is no. So it's like a chairman said at a time that all you need to do is cross to our side and your sins are forgiven. So now all you may need to do in Nigeria now, and I'm bringing out facts and statements of top politicians, is to just go into political office and you are financially, economically settled.
But that's not the Nigeria of the renewed hope vision.
Sir, inside hope, hope is made up of 4 letters, H-O-P-E. The H stands for help. If you cannot help your citizens, hope is useless. The O stands for opportunities. You create opportunities for the citizens. And that is why I'm happy that we started reading about those who started looting palliatives, money meant for humanitarian issues. Because I argued against palliatives. Sheikh Zayed, of the founding father of the modern UAE, now late, said wealth is not money for developing people. So I don't need palliative. Create opportunities.
Indeed.
Investors are running out of this country now.
Let me come back to you for the P and the E. In the meantime, Mukhtar in Kano has called in. Good morning, sir.
Hello, good morning, Leori.
Good morning, sir.
How are you doing?
Thank you very much for calling in. I'm well.
I really commend and appreciate what Mr. Jide is saying. I really appreciate and commend what Mr. Jide is saying. Mr. Jide is telling the truth, the naked truth, to the whole world, because he enumerated Nigeria's problems and he gave a history of the problems of this nation and he listed them. So if I were to be the president of this nation, I will take the advice of Mr. Jide, who is now speaking, and sincerely speaking, I have never enjoyed a program of TVC like this today, because he's telling the naked truth to the whole world, to the whole Nigerians, because there are numerous of problems that we have never identified and we have never attempted to solve, because all this renewed hope is a deceit. It's a deceit. Let's face the reality. There are numerous problems that are militating against the lives of Nigerians. The hardship we are going through, the military, the peace, the prices, the economy, and the political stability of the nation. But the leaders are all going for their own interest in the political arena. Mr. Jide, I salute you, and I say kudos to you. Thank you very much.
Well, thank you very much for calling in, Mukhtar, in Kano. So that's a Nigerian, and there are many, because here you are, I dare say you're not speaking for yourself. There are a lot of people who see it also like this. But then you also have to look at it from the point of view of those who are saying that this is how it is going to have to be necessarily. But for how long? When I say this is how it's going to have to be for some time, it's because no man is an island. The APC won the election. The president is in place. He's put all of these programs in place. People are analyzing them. They're saying in the circumstances it's the best we can do, but people are not at all sure that they are being pursued with all sincerity. When I said no man is an island, Mr. President with his ideas can't work it alone. He needs people around him. Do we have square pegs? How do they put it? Square pegs in square holes and round pegs in round holes? Or is there a mishmash?
Okay. I mentioned help, I mentioned opportunities, and your issue is now addressed by the letter P, power. By Section 5, by virtue of Section 5 of the Nigerian Constitution 1999 as amended, the president is empowered with executive power. He has the Federal Executive Council. He has the ministries, departments, and agencies. He has international collaborations under the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals that will be evaluated by year 2030, otherwise known as Agenda 2030. So the resources are there. But if he is sentimental, he will fail. I just said it now, sir. There are people who feed, who drink, who sleep on wickedness.
Or
and they will do,
which is the same thing.
You see, the advanced level of self-interest is wickedness.
Okay.
That's the capsule.
Okay.
Who will do everything to frustrate everything good. And if
you think we're going through that now?
We've been going through it. Sir, NNPC was established on the 1st of April, I think 1977 or thereabout. What has NNPC delivered to Nigeria? Can people come out to say they have not made trillions of naira
out of
from NNPC that should generate commonwealth for Nigeria? I'm sad. These are issues. A federal minister came out recently maybe this matter has not been burning people in their hearts, to tell us powerful people are behind illegal mining.
Okay, let's take a break now. We'll be right back. Stay with us, please. We'll look at the situation of our country, trying to juxtapose it against the recent by-elections and the reruns, and whether there's going to be a sort of a fillip, any sort of a push for the right things to be done. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Every second, every minute, every hour, and every day, time doesn't just tick away. It's a countdown to political decisions that shape our world.
This country must move.
Imagine the impact these decisions have on our lives. Some are consequential, others may leave us intrigued or baffled.
You will have no better friend and partner than Nigeria.
Step in and feel the frenzy like never before. Join me every weekday for an hour of fact-finding interviews where questions cut to the core.
What does Tinubu has that other 17 candidates do not have?
I will dig in to get to the heart of issues, from local politics to global insight. Join me as I unearth the power plays, jaw-dropping revelations, and the unfiltered truth. This isn't just politics, it's unraveling the stories that matter. Brace yourself for Politics Tonight every weekday at 8 p.m., where every decision echoes along the corridors of our lives. Politics Tonight, only on TVC News.
Okay, welcome back, and thank you very much for staying with us and for joining us. If you've just arrived, my guest is Mr. Jide Ologun, political affairs analyst, and he's been quite forthright and indeed stern on the point of nothing is going to change apart from, unless we change the way our mentality in the country. Before I go further, let me bring in Prince Balogun in Akute, who has called in. Good morning, Prince.
Yeah, good morning, sir. Our big daddy.
Thank you very much for calling in.
Good morning to Pastor Jide Ologun.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, yes. Actually, we pray to Almighty God to be bringing people like Pastor Ologun up to speak for us. Just like we have Pastor Jide Ologun. Those are the people we appreciate in our, community. They give us hope, and and God will continue to, strengthen them. Yeah, but the situation on ground now is very critical. Very, very critical. That it is only in Nigeria that they call Giant of Africa. That the federal government cannot, put the battling with strong faith and confidence to fish out. Sir, this is one of the major things, our president, used to campaign for us. Even with the VP, as a northern and that, they will get all these, terrorists. It's like they are going to punish them even for the first month of being in the office. Now, what we are seeing now is terrible. Killing over, kidnapping, they even talking kidnapping in the presence of federal government to a normal business. This is unfair. This is unfair. Sir, I know how much I spent. See, I did not belong to any political party. Right from Jonathan time, I know how I would believe that, this man will help us. This is somebody I know this thing. Thank God we are going into the right hand. At the end of the day, the thing will be like, we will start regretting. I know a lot of people in the community now that have been pointing finger to me that yes, you campaign for him. you pretend something now. I did not collect kobo from neither APC or the Asiwaju team. I still have most of those shopping now. I convince people that this man did this in Lagos. He has everything. He's an economist. He's this, is that. So what are we seeing now? This cannot continue like this. It cannot continue. Barristers Olokun have just nailed the point on the head, blankly.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, thank you very much for calling in, Prince Balogun from Akute. Sort of reviewing, as it were, the recent elections, by-elections and rerun elections, where, from the Nigerian point of view, it sort of went, okay, especially when you look at the positive headline of APC sweeping the Southwest. There are other elections, there are other situations, other states where elections had to be sort of cancelled. We heard of robberies, missing ballot boxes. So it's a mixture, and all of this we were looking at. Was anybody really expecting anything to be much different? And that's where we began to talk about what do even the parties stand for. Do we expect that some of these people that are coming in selflessly and indeed will rock the boat in a positive way? Can you really look forward to that? Or, as Nigerians might be suspecting, they just have seen that, they have now joined the winning team. And the winning team, you made a distinction between self-interest and the advanced version of that being wickedness. Political, I don't know. Well, wickedness is wickedness, meaning that wickedness is just doing harm to the people. Do you really think that anybody, to zero in on your word wickedness, do you think that anybody actually wants to cause harm to their fellow human being, their fellow compatriot? That would be wickedness. Can one go as far as that? Might one not be accused of emotionalism?
Emotionalism is part of human nature.
But emotionalism
let me ask,
is not always
let
fact.
me ask, so what is good in criminals going into a palace to kill a monarch and go away with the queen?
That's criminality.
I mean,
that's criminality.
What is good in some top-line investors, in quotes, constructing pipelines across the ocean to steal our crude oil? Crude oil, you see, Nigeria, by my own opinion, should be the third richest country in the world. Nigeria discovered crude oil in commercial quantity in 1956, joined the producers in 1958, commissioned the first refinery in 1965. You see, and today we are talking of poverty. And let me say this.
Wait, sorry, sir. All those statistics, they're factual, but you also must add that we have to accept Nigeria is not in the same league ideologically as what is the country of this gentleman, Lee Kuan Yew.
Lee Kuan Yew.
We're not ideologically speaking in that same generation.
For bringing that.
Yes, because
thank you for bringing that
is a totally different ideology.
Fantastic.
A totally different race of people. But I don't want to keep Kolawole in Lagos, who are called in. So you come in after that. Good morning, Mr. Kolawole.
Good morning, Okuyori.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
Please go ahead.
In 1974, I was a staff of Mobil Oil Producing.
Okay.
Mobil Oil Producing, I kept the record of unproductive crude oil well. I was in charge. That crude oil unproductive, I will send it to the federal government as a strategic reserve crude oil. When crude oil is produced into various components, 9 products will come out of it. Besides fuel, kerosene, is 3 types that will come out of it. The one for aviation, the one for domestic use, and the one we use in our depot to clean oil, grease spillage in our depot. That kerosene was the one they were siphoning out some years ago that you have kerosene explosion. From crude oil, petroleum jelly, I've told you now, 9 products from the real fuel. The government are not telling us the truth. But I know that our president will do well because the man he has appointed now, Payo Sakre was our director then. So NNPC will not take us back to the old age. All the lies they have been telling us, the man will point it out to them.
So,
and everything will be corrected.
So you see hope. You see hope.
Yes, there is hope.
In the gloomy horizon.
There is hope on that.
Thank you very much, Mr. Kolawole, for calling in. I appreciate your call.
Is the best in the world. It doesn't have sulfur.
Okay. Yes.
US oil has sulfur.
Yes.
UK oil has sulfur. Before you refine it, you will remove all the sulfur. Nigeria oil, you will not remove any sulfur. Why are they not telling us the truth?
Okay.
Please, let them tell the country the truth. And let us...
Thank you very much for calling in, Mr. Kolawole, in Lagos. I was saying that, well, everybody knows, or if they care to find out, they can know, that the attitude, the ideological attitude to politics over there is entirely different. Was it an overarching ambition to hope that we might begin to approximate something like that? By the way, we're mentioning these things in the context of the recent by-elections and reruns that we had, and not giving very much cheer, really.
Okay, I give you 110% for prompting this Lee Kuan Yew. I've spoken about health, opportunities, power, and the E is excellence.
Okay.
You see, Singapore left Malaysia in 1965 with various challenges and little resources, but with vision, excellent vision.
And discipline.
Yeah, you see, discipline is what upholds your vision towards the destination, because vision is the destination you are aiming at. And the mission is, how do you get there? That's where ideology comes in. Do you know that Lee Kuan Yew came to Nigeria, visited some other leaders around the world, when he caught that vision of developing that little coastal region to an earthly paradise? But if you read From Third World to First World, written by Lee Kuan Yew, go and read that book. When he saw the leadership mindset in Nigeria, he just abandoned Nigeria. A minister was discussing how to use its resources, build his own personal business. And the man said, these people are not serious.
Exactly.
And he left. Today, Singapore is one of the best countries to live and to work in the world. As an HR practitioner, I study Singapore in how they are emerging in managing HR. You see, the man was pragmatic, zero tolerance, and I mean that, for corruption.
That is it.
He studied the successful template around the world and enhanced those templates.
I was able to inspire his people to follow him.
I mean, you know what?
Zero tolerance.
In nations' wealth
that has been
management, nations' wealth management, you look at the wealth you have in terms of resources, no matter how little. You build it up to a wealth magnet by creating the infrastructure and the environment to attract the external wealth that we call foreign direct investment. And that's what he did. So the top brands are doing business effortlessly in Singapore. The same thing that Sheikh Zayed did in Dubai. Get to Dubai today, get to Abu Dhabi, look at the World Cup that Qatar hosted. They made profit from it. And let's come back to the corruption in Nigeria. You see, that there was a man called Joshua in the Bible.
Sorry, before you go further, just remember, that's a good point to take off when I come back to you, Joshua in the Bible. Because this begins to remind me of what Mukhtar was saying. Mukhtar, who called in from Kano, he was saying that the place is in a mess and that there's insincerity all over the place. And we were speaking about Lee Kuan Yew over in Singapore and how he persuaded the people to follow and support him in his vision of zero tolerance for all the nonsense that kept Singapore where it was. Well, we would also like to have a zero tolerance here, but I think Mukhtar in Kano sort of indicated that we're not ready yet. And if we were, it would be different. But let me bring in Mr. George. Thank you for holding on all this while, Mr. George. Good morning to you, sir.
Good morning, Uncle Yori, and good morning to Mr. Logan.
Yes.
Uncle Yori, I took a look at the election results early this morning on the by-elections that took place on Saturday. And from all indications, the pattern of voting is the same with the one that was held in February last year.
Yes.
February and March. So I did not see any major upset anywhere. That brings me to the subject matter of one senator who came online recently and started that the Northerners are going to take a different voting pattern, threatening because their children, his own child and the child of the elite is being transferred from Central Bank in Abuja to Lagos. Which not was he speaking for? We know, you and I know, Uncle Yori, that the Northerners vote on principles. In 1993, they voted for a Yoruba man against their own man. In 2023, they voted, their own son was on the ballot, and they voted for Asiwaju, who is a Yoruba man. These same Northerners, 14, you and I remember 14 governors from the North, were the ones who went to President Buhari and said, "Okay, you can't do this. This presidency must go back to the South." Just last year. So those few who were coming to the air to make noise, if you transfer my children to outside Abuja with break loose, they were just speaking for themselves and not for the North. That's just one point I want to make there.
Okay.
So the Speaker, Mr. Jide Ologun, should also please bear in mind that where there are major changes, there must be a fight back. And that there is only one thing at a time that can be done. Otherwise, if you push the people too much to the wall, there will be reaction.
What do you think then, Mr. George, since you brought that aspect up, yes. I understand. Maybe you need to take one thing at a time where there are too many problems on the ground. What would be your sort of stab at, Which one?
What I mean by that, Uncle Yori, is that I got the point that Mr. Ologun is making, that the president needs to go drastic about going after those who do wrong to the system. That is true. But you can't do 2-3 things at the same time.
Okay.
One thing, after that, you go to the next.
All right.
After that, you go to the next. I do not believe that the president is sleeping in terms of security, addressing security, and addressing corruption. This is a man that we know for strategy. That media triad pattern of not investigating anybody before bringing him to the limelight, we can't follow the same pattern again.
All right then.
The only candid advice I want to give Mr. President is that, if you remember, President Buhari did well in many things, but in this last year of administration, he allowed insecurity to overshadow the performance that he made. That should not be allowed to happen with people who do not mean well for our system. Like Mr. Logan said, there are many people working for 24 hours to ensure that Nigeria does not work. Those are the people the president should be hard on in terms of reaction, and he should do it one by one. That's what I mean, Uncle Yori.
Thank you very much, Mr. George. Very interesting, summary of the situation. And Mr. George also he mentioned that, look, he looked at the results of the election, compared it with what happened in March, February, March, and no difference. And so that is where we actually started from. So there doesn't seem to be any difference really in terms of the outlook for the elections between then and now. So can we really expect that these people have caught a bug and have used the past few months to sort of inspire themselves that, you know, there's going to be a need to rock the boat. But as Mr. George is saying, well, all of that is as it is, but you can only do so much one at a time.
Fantastic. You know, I was talking about Joshua. In Joshua chapter 6, the wall of Jericho was confronting him, and God taught him what to do. And God brought the wall down because he obeyed. And suddenly they went to battle and won, and somebody stole what should not be stolen. It wasn't Joshua that stole it. And if you read Joshua chapter 7, verse 25, Joshua had to call that man, Achan, that your family must be extinguished. That is the instruction of God, before we can begin to succeed again. And they did that. That is why you hardly find somebody naming his son Achan today. My advice is to President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. My president, whom I respect, if you know the wicked one working against your government and you lead them walking freely, best wishes, sir. They are wicked. They will continue to be wicked. That is their blood. That is their oxygen. Let me come to national system.
Okay, briefly.
And I say this with all due respect. The UK frowns at modern slavery, organ harvesting and trading. And unfortunately, our honorable senator in Nigeria fell into that trap. And the UK investigated, prosecuted for about 6 weeks before it committed judiciary and jailed the stakeholders that were guilty. You see, in fact, our former president wrote a letter, sir.
I was going to say, do you recall that some Nigerian public figures actually appealed?
Because it's a matter of system versus system.
There's also the case of Better Edu in Nigeria. There are those who are actually saying that,
if you have tolerance for corruption, corruption will destroy you. I agree with former President Muhammadu Buhari that said corruption fights back. Corruption fights back. If you must succeed, what the Lord Jesus Christ declared is that flee from every appearance of evil. Resist the devil. If Mr. President does not resist the illegal miners, the oil thieves, how can a whole accountant general of a federation steal billions of naira from the accounts? Now we are reading about Betty Edu. Maybe we'll be reading about a volleyball in the next 3 weeks, and that case is under the carpet. Who succeeds with that? If there are no consequences, you are grooming crime. And when crime becomes a giant, it becomes difficult to tame it. You elders said, and I believe it, that you only tame an Iroko tree when it is young. If it becomes old, you will have to pour libation and make different kinds of sacrifices. But in these days of technology, you can hire a submarine weapon to blow up the Iroko. So I wish my president and commander-in-chief, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, the best in office. I believe in his abilities. But please, sir, as long as you give the wicked ones space, they will frustrate you. Okay. Did you not see when my president came to Lagos, citizens were being power,
Yes.
Those are bad omens.
So
sir, I wish him the best.
But there's a lot of work to be done on the political sphere.
He is the commander-in-chief of the armed forces. He has the resources of the nation. He's been entrusted. He told us we should not pity him.
Okay, we're going to
he has the instrumentality of office.
So much is expected from the president.
Absolutely.
And people are expecting that he has the ability, and indeed they want to see the leadership that will lead towards this. You do well to remember that President Tinubu said that he is not to be pitied. He asked for this job, and so he should be held to the highest standards. That's our program today. We're going to have to leave it there for Nigeria. For now, the topic of Nigeria is an inexhaustible one. Inevitably, we'll be back tomorrow, and from there on, continue with this conversation. Thank you very much for being with us. My name is Yori Folare. Bye-bye for now.
following is a paid presentation by ShopX TV. Today, there are many complex, boring, expensive and useless exercise machines in the market. Or you pay over 400,000 naira a year for gym membership and never go. ShopX TV is proud to introduce Total Crunch Evolution, the compact, versatile fitness solution that is perfect for you. With Total Crunch, you get a complete fitness workout in one machine. Say goodbye to ineffective and complicated exercise machines. Now, you have the power to transform your fitness journey and get the body you have always wanted right in the comfort of your own home. Total Crunch is the efficient and effective way to build muscle, tone and tighten your legs, shape your back and pectorals, while strengthening your core and defining your abs. Now that's totally effective to get the body you want. With Total Crunch, your whole body works out at the same time. Only Total Crunch can put your whole body in motion as you burn calories and lose weight. Just one fitness routine a week will achieve serious results in 4 weeks.
Total Crunch Evolution has enhanced the way I work out and the results I achieve. It's not just a fitness equipment, it's a life changer. This versatile, time-saving machine is perfect for anyone looking to lose weight or stay in shape. Trust me, this is the game changer you've been waiting for.
With my busy schedule, finding time to work out and stay in shape has always been a challenge. Until I discovered the Total Crunch Evolution. It's a lifesaver.
Traditional exercise equipment is large, complex, takes up so much space in your home, and you could be paying up to 400,000 naira for annual gym fees. Get the Total Crunch Evolution, the 2-in-1 fitness solution to save the cost and transform your body from the convenience of your home. Similar equipment costs 300,000 naira, but you can get the Total Crunch Evolution for not 300,000 naira, not even 200,000 naira. Order right now and get your Total Crunch Evolution for just 179,950 naira only. And that's not all. You can get our Total Crunch Evolution in 2 easy payments of 89,975 naira. That's right. Pay twice to get your Total Crunch. And remember, if you order now, you get the Total Crunch Evolution delivered to you for free anywhere you are in Nigeria. And it comes with a ShopX 30-day money-back guarantee. Call the number on your screen now or scan the code to place your order now. But hurry, limited stock available. The proceeding is a paid presentation brought to you by ShopX TV.
Information is power, information is security, information is knowledge. On Labor Lens, we believe that working people around the world have real questions of their own. They want to know how the world of work operates, what it means to the employer of labor, how policies affect workers in the workplace. On Labor Lens, I ensure we engage effectively the organized labor, organized private sector and government to get out of them information workers are in need of. I am Sharon Ijason, asking questions that make you get sense of the workplace.
At TVC News, wherever the big news story is happening, we're geared up to break it. TVC News, first with breaking it.
And welcome to TVC News at 12. We are live in Minna, the Niger State capital, where protests erupted this morning over rising inflation, resulting in the hike of gas and fuel prices. The Pakungu roundabout leading to NECO headquarters and the Federal University of Technology has been blocked by protesting youth. Hoodlums are said to have barricaded the roads, stopping commuters from passing through. Our correspondent Chenemi Bameyi is live for us, and we'll be speaking to him for more on the development. Chanemi, what is the situation now? Is the protest still on? All right, Chanemi, if you can hear me, what exactly is the situation now? Is the protest still on?
All right. Good morning. Sorry, good afternoon. The protesters have been dispersed from the location, from the scene, as police shot some fires into the air just to calm the situation because it was getting volatile. The deputy governor of the state, Yakubu Garba, visited the place in the morning. He had to be excused from the State Executive Council meeting that was ongoing as directed by the governor, but not much has changed. Really. The people were complaining about the rising cost of food items, essential food items, especially rice and the price of gas. Right now in this place, a kg of gas costs 1,000 naira. Local rice here costs about 2,000 naira, and the foreign rice costs 2,500 naira. Now that's quite some concern because Niger State is largely known for agriculture, and the people are angry that they have to buy rice that they farm at that expensive price. Also considering the fact that the Muslim Ramadan season will soon commence, so they feel like if they get their grievances out by this time, it might get some attention from the government.
All right, Chanemi, I remember the governor saying he should be, identified as the farmers' governor. Have we gotten any reactions just yet from the state government?
All right, like I said, the deputy governor that spoke on behalf of the governor, because the governor is currently attending to the State Executive Council meeting, the deputy governor said that they are taking measures to distribute more palliative. They are just 7 months in office and they've distributed palliative 3 times in just 7 months, which proves that palliative will not solve the problem, But the plan from the governor largely is to improve mechanized agriculture in the state, and all those things they are still in the pipeline. The results will show in, let's say, probably in the next farming season. The governor has been securing various funds and loans to improve agriculture in the state, which is why he called himself the farmer governor. So it's expected that in the next harvest season, if these loans and these monies are being channeled into agriculture, it's expected that in the next farming season things should look up, things should be better a bit. But I think majorly it's due to the price of fuel, which has led to the increase in all of these other commodities, because it's not just what people farm, including gas. That's part of what their complaints are.
Indeed, Chanemi. And we know that the people might have been dispersed today, but does this seem strong enough to actually prevent them from gathering again? I mean, what is their outlook like?
Okay, right now the protest is only happening around Bakongo area, and that Bakongo leads to the Federal University of Technology permanent site and also the NECO headquarters. The government is trying to ensure that it does not spread across other neighborhoods. Now, that particular neighborhood is quite volatile when issues like this come up. There are usually security concerns, and it can easily degenerate into theft and robbery by hoodlums that might be lurking around that area. So right now, issues are a bit under control, but we don't know what might happen later or even tomorrow, but we'll stay on top of the situation.
All right, Chanemi, thank you very much for that update. Chanemi Bamiyi for us in Minna, Niger State. Let's turn attention to Ekiti State, where Governor Biodun Oyebanji is assuring residents of their safety following recent abductions that took place at the Apostolic Faith Montessori Nursery and Primary School in Ekiti State. The governor, who visited the victims, has released pupils and teachers who are receiving treatment at the hospital, promised that the state government is doing everything possible to prevent a repeat of the incident, while promising that the perpetrators will be apprehended. We have more in this report.
The victims of the Apostolic School abduction in Ekiti State were released at about 1:30 a.m. on Sunday. Sadly, the driver of the school bus was killed in custody. Following their release, the victims were taken to the Ekiti State University Teaching Hospital for treatment. Governor Biodun Oyebanji visited the victims at the hospital and condoled with the family of the driver and promised to arrest the perpetrators.
Well, this is not the forum to discuss that. We are going to have a security meeting to ensure that this does not happen again. Well, I sympathize and I condole with the family of the departed. I've dispatched the deputy governor to go to Imure to go and commiserate with them and to commiserate with KBSC. But one thing I can assure you, people, we go after them.
The governor also assured residents of their safety and thanked President Bola Tinubu and security agencies for their support in rescuing the victims.
To the President, Asiwaju Bola Tinubu, for a swift response to this. His intervention made all the difference. So I'm thankful to him on behalf of Ekiti people. I'm extremely grateful. And I also thank all the security chiefs. All of them put resources together. They mobilize men and material to ensure that they will rescue them.
The teachers and pupils were heading to Ekiti when their school bus was ambushed. The abduction came after two traditional rulers were ambushed on their way from a security meeting in Kogi State. Another was also killed in Kwara State. These abductions have raised fresh concerns over the security situation as residents seek improved efforts to stop the trend.
Meanwhile, 13 suspects have been apprehended by the Ekiti Police Command in connection with the killing of 2 monarchs and abduction of 4 school pupils and their teachers in Ekiti. Speaking with journalists while parading the suspects in Ado Ekiti, the Assistant Inspector General of Police, Dario Gundari, said 1 suspect was arrested in connection with the killing of the traditional rulers in the state. He commended the efforts of the Inspector General of Police, Kayode Egbetokun, and the State Governor, Biodun Oyebanji, for their efforts in making sure criminals the law.
Alhaji admitted he took part in the assassination of the 2 traditional rulers. He is currently giving correct information that will lead to the arrest of other gang members. SB recovered from the suspects are 1 live cow, 3 cutlasses, 1 axe, 1 dagger, including food items. We want to enjoin the good people of the state that the command will not rest on its oars until these perpetrators of this heinous and criminal act are brought to justice. We employ all of them to remain calm as we carry out further investigation.
Let's turn attention to Yobe State, where 3 hunters and 1 policeman have been killed following the attack on Kukarita village in Yobe State. Michael Oshoma has details.
Kukarita village have suffered a series of attacks occasioned by Boko Haram terrorists. Some pathways in Kukarita lead to some of the hideouts of the insurgents in Sambisa forest.
Really, we appreciate.
This is the district head of Kukarita village. He says the insurgents, in their numbers, attacked the village, burnt his car, and killed 2 persons.
Elements suspected to be Boko Haram elements.
Earlier, the senior special assistant to Governor May Malabuni on security matters spoke with newsmen, stressing that the government is on top of the situation.
As far as the government is concerned, government is doing all efforts to ensure the safety and security of the citizenry. And people should not get scared. They should continue with their normal activities. Their peace, safety, and security is fully assured.
Shortly after the attack, the insurgents planted an improvised explosive device which left a policeman seriously injured. At the moment, some residents of Kukarita have left their ancestral homes to seek shelter in other communities. Also, the number of persons receiving treatment at the hospital is still yet unknown. Michael Oshoma, TVC News, Damaturu, Yobe State.
In Rivers State, the police say steps have been taken to bring an end to human rights abuses and other dangerous practices by officers. Commissioner of Police Tunji Diso gave this assurance at the end of a 3-week operational training program in Port Harcourt. Senior reporter Uche Okoro has more.
The police say they are taking capacity building seriously to ensure that all personnel adhere to international best practices in the line of duty. This training focused on updating the skills of police officers in dealing with dangerous situations. It featured exercises on tactical combat formation.
And the act of fire. They have finished their engagement to withdraw. In every withdrawal, it should be tactical.
Participants also received courses on crowd control.
They demonstrated how to tackle crowds that are peaceful. They demonstrated crowds that have developed into a riotous situation. And they demonstrated how to handle crowds that are dangerous, potent dangers to the police and to the members of the public. They have been trained to handle all these situations.
As the command prioritizes capacity building, it says building a police force with a human face is equally important.
We are combat ready. We are ready to do our jobs. Our men have been trained again and again. About a month ago, we embarked on the training of our men on how to handle their firearms and talk to them on the use of when they could deploy their firearms. Now we have gone a step further. Our officers have been trained in riot drills and tactical combat operation that will assist us in bringing down crime to the barest minimum. At the same time, I want to ensure that I assure members of the public that we are going to ensure that the human right of every citizen is taken into cognizance. Nobody will be harassed with the deployment of these skills.
The police hope that with more support from its top management and the state government, they would get the right equipment that officers need to fully utilize the skills acquired in these training sessions. Uche Okoro, TVC News, Port Harcourt.
Staying in Rivers State, where Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, Nyesom Wike, has called on the traditional institution to live up to their responsibility as bridge builders in the society. Mr. Wike said this in Buguna community of Asari Toru local government area while attending the chieftaincy installation of his close political ally and Commissioner for Works, Alabo George Kelly. According to the former governor, traditional rulers play a vital role in preserving culture, traditions, and promoting peace. The event was also attended by many past and present political leaders in Rivers State across party lines.
So you have been given another honors task to keep the values, the culture of our people. These days, when education and modernization is trying to take away all our values and culture, it's a very big assignment, and I know they are equal to the task. And so, please use your position for the interest of your people. Do not use your position to divide the communities. Use it to unite them, use it to bring development. And I believe, knowing you well, you will do the right thing.
You're watching TVC News. There'll be more stories after this break, including updates on the explosion in Imo State in the last week. Stay with us.
Lagos is the most visited state in Africa as the 5th largest economy on the continent. Covering the state and its government is no mean feat. It's a busy beat. We go beyond the curtain of tapes to travel in far into the deep.
I want to thank the Lagos State government for the healthcare facility.
To bring stories that cut across all spectrums.
A greater Lagos shall be ours.
We tell you stories that define our collective well-being as Lagosians. I'm Adedoja Salamadini. I live in Lagos, inside Lagos.
Welcome back. The death of Adebayo Adesheko and Sarah Adesanya in the Ojodu area of Lagos State is still generating reactions from residents. The neighbors describe the death of the two lovers as unfortunate and unbelievable, saying the incident came to them as a surprise, especially as their bodies were found in the apartment they occupied. Senior correspondent Ivy Kano has more.
Residents of Bamako Estate, Ojodu, woke to what can be described as a rude shock on Sunday morning. Adebayo Adesoke and Sarah Adesanya used to be tenants at this building at 81 Mete Street off Shoyemi in Bamako Estate until Sunday morning when their lifeless bodies were seen covered in their blood. While Sarah's body was inside the apartment, that of Adebayo appeared to have struggled to the apartment's door. When TVC News crew arrived at the apartment, it shows that the crime scene has been logged by investigators whom we were told got to the scene after a neighbor reported the incident. There were still blood stains outside the apartment. Neighbors who refused to have their faces on camera said 36-year-old Sarah moved into the house some years back before she was joined by her partner, 30-year-old Adebayo.
I was still sleeping when I heard noises. So out of shock, I heard voices. People were hitting other doors. So I now stood up, opened my door, came out. So I heard some people crying, Biotiku, like they were just saying, he's dead, he's dead.
I woke up around, I think 2 minutes to 8, and I was seeing influx of people. I was like, what is happening? So a neighbor, like a friend of ours in the streets, just called that, oh, Titi, you are in the house. I said, yes, I'm in the house. So he was like, this person and this person killed themselves. Like Sarah and Bayo killed themselves. I was like, are you joking?
According to them, the two had totally different disposition to life.
She's a girl that's very hardworking girl, but as well, troublesome girl. She's so stubborn. And she's very good also at times. So,
the boyfriend, go?
That one don't like Wahala, just go on his own way.
She's just